But I'm gonna tell you like this, when I saw that, I think T.I. fucking lying.
Tell me, it been 20 years, bro. It been 20 years. I figure if I wasn't built like that, it'll show by now. It been 20 years, bro. I done faced every challenge motherfucker that like to throw at me, man. You ain't seen me fold, you ain't seen me break down.
I gotta say something about this, bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male. A 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be. They don't have it figured out yet. He might meet a woman, anything at 16 and fall in love with her. But his be gone. How you gonna? Like, bro, you going too far, dog. Don't cut his off, bro. Like, bro, for real. If he gonna be
it the messiest showdown of the year, and tonight the whispers just got louder. Online chatter claims a tense courtroom moment sent shockwaves through hip-hop. Tip allegedly stepping out, jaw clenched, eyes wet, firing a warning at whoever, in his words, set my boy up. At the center of it all is King Harris, and the rumor mill says Ty now believes Boosie played a part, or at least benefited, after that explosive leak lit up every feed in minutes. Nothing here is confirmed, but fans are convinced they saw a father pushed to the edge, a family closing ranks, and an old friendship cracking under pressure. Timelines are a blur, DMs are full of insider notes, and people swear there's more footage in the shadows waiting to drop. Boosie's camp, according to social posts, calls the talk pure fiction. Ty's supporters say the pattern looks too neat to be random.
Well, I mean, of course I spoke with my son. You know, me and his uncles. You know, we were perplexed by his necessity to go back and forth with the short order cook. I didn't understand why he felt he needed to stop what he was doing to engage someone who was at such another level of life. Now, I had to explain to him that, you know, when people are not living the way they hope they would live, and here you is walking in with so much freedom and luxury, and you know, people gonna posture themselves a certain way. So therefore, you're gonna have to enjoy your life. You're gonna have to
random. The streets are split. Group chats are raging and everyone's asking the same thing. Is this a calculated takedown or a storm of coincidences? Tonight we break down the claims, the reactions, and the unanswered questions. Because if these reports are even half true, the fallout could redraw the lines of loyalty in public. The court was buzzing with an energy that felt almost electric, as if every wall could sense the storm brewing between two of the South's most iconic names. Whispers floated through the crowd about Ty's demeanor, the way his fists clenched and his eyes darted from the press to the defense table where Boosie sat, calm on the outside but unreadable inside. People leaned over to one another, murmuring about betrayal, setup, and the kind of drama that could break families in half. None of it was confirmed, but the tension in the room told its own story. Ty's voice cracked as he addressed the judge, but it wasn't legal jargon he spoke. It was raw emotions spilling out in front of strangers. He said his household.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're caught.
Said his son had been turned into a target, not by fate, but by manipulation. The kind that cuts deeper because it comes from someone close. Fans watching outside the courthouse replayed the footage over and over, zooming into his trembling hands, reading his body language like a script. They swore this wasn't just anger, it was grief. It was humiliation wrapped in defiance. The accusations circling the case suggested that what began as an embarrassing leak had spiraled into something darker. Insiders whispered about edited footage, carefully timed drops, and shadowy figures fueling the scandal to make sure it reached the widest audience possible. And in the middle of it all, King Harris found himself drowning in a tide of shame that didn't feel like his own making. Friends close to the family described him as withdrawn, barely speaking, staring at screens with hollow eyes. Every meme, every hashtag, every joke became a new wound carved into his confidence. Meanwhile, wasn't sitting quietly. The rumors said he snapped back with claims of innocence, going live on social platforms and yelling at the camera that this was all a trap set against him. "Y'all crazy if you think I leaked anything," he shouted, his words bouncing across timelines like wildfire. But fans weren't convinced. The timing was too sharp, the silence before his outburst too strategic, and the digital trail that gossipers swore pointed back to his circle was too damning in their eyes. Those closest to Ty painted a different picture entirely. They described nights where he paced the floor of his mansion, phone in hand, replaying the leaked clip until his eyes burned. They said he couldn't sleep. That Tiny sat with him, holding his arm as he muttered about loyalty, betrayal, and how someone could take aim at a child just to wound a father. For T, this wasn't just about King's reputation. It was about legacy, about family honor. "They want to bury me by hurting him," he allegedly told a confidant. "But I swear I won't let them." The courtroom sessions became less about evidence and more about emotion. Ty's team argued that the leak wasn't just a violation of privacy. It was calculated psychological warfare. They said King had been humiliated on purpose, that the goal was not just embarrassment, but permanent damage. Fans outside picked up the chant, flooding feeds with hashtags like "One Justice for King" and "Protect Her Kids," while others mocked, laughing at the irony of a young man born into wealth and fame, suddenly made into a victim. The divide in the culture was clear. Half wanted accountability, half wanted entertainment. Sources from the music industry added another twist. They suggested the scandal wasn't just a personal beef, but part of a bigger scheme. Talk of record label politics, old grudges, and money trails emerged. Anonymous posts claimed certain powerful figures wanted to stunt King's rising career before it even had the chance to take off. And what better way to do that than by spreading a scandal so loud that no one would remember his music? Only the controversy. Behind all of this noise, King himself struggled. His close friends allegedly described him as restless, avoiding meals, refusing to answer messages. He felt betrayed not only by the leak, but by the public who seemed more interested in memes than in his pain. "They turned me into a joke," he reportedly told someone, "and I don't even know who I am anymore." That confession spread like wildfire, screen-capped and reposted thousands of times, turning his cry for help into yet another viral moment. T's enemies, both old and new, saw an opportunity in his vulnerability. Whispers of street rivals celebrating behind closed doors reached the blogs. For them, watching Tip, once unshakable, now trembling outside a courthouse, was a victory years in the making. But for his supporters, it was a tragedy. They saw a father stripped of strength, fighting tooth and nail to defend a son who never asked to be at the center of such chaos. The press fed on every second. Cameras flashed as Ty walked in with his family. Tiny clutching his arm, King trailing behind with his head low. Reporters shouted questions. "Did Boosie set you up? Is this about old beef? What do you say to the people who think this is just clout?" Ty never answered, his silence only adding fuel to the fire. His face, captured in photos, looked both furious and shattered, a man torn between rage and despair. The streets kept buzzing. Group chats lit up with debates, fans argued on lives, and everyone wanted to know who was telling the truth. Boosie's denials grew louder, Ty's accusations sharper, and King's silence heavier. The scandal wasn't fading, it was growing, pulling in more voices, more theories, and more chaos. And through it all, one question kept echoing louder than the rest. Was this really just a feud between two men? Or had King Harris been turned into the pawn of a much larger game? The storm inside the courthouse didn't die down. It only grew stronger as the days dragged on. Every appearance felt like a performance on a stage none of them wanted but couldn't escape. Ty sat in silence, jaw clenched, eyes never straying too far from Boosie. Boosie, on the other hand, leaned back in his chair like he had nothing to worry about, occasionally smirking, a gesture that made fans outside swear he was taunting Ty. The tension was thick enough to choke on, and it spilled over into the streets, where people debated in barbershops, diners, and corner stores about who was really pulling the strings. What complicated the narrative was the sudden leak of alleged text messages that claimed to show conversations between people tied to Boosie's circle. Screenshots spread like wildfire across Twitter and Instagram. In those messages, there were hints of planning, talk about timing, and cryptic references to dropping the tape when it'll hurt most. No one could verify if they were real, but that didn't matter. The culture ran with it, using them as proof that Boosie had played a darker role than he wanted to admit. Boosie fired back online, calling the texts fake, insisting enemies were fabricating evidence to frame him. Yet his anger only fanned the flames of suspicion. King's struggle deepened. Friends who once posted playful pictures with him stopped tagging him altogether. Some unfollowed him, scared of the backlash attached to his name. One close friend admitted in a podcast, "He's not the same anymore. It's like he don't even want to be alive in this spotlight. He just wants to disappear." Those words hit hard, reminding people that behind the noise was a 19-year-old crushed under the weight of humiliation. The Harris family stood united in public, but behind closed doors, insiders whispered about the toll. Ty and Tiny allegedly argued over how to handle things. She wanted to shield King completely, keep him away from cameras, while Ty pushed for public defense, believing silence would look like guilt. "We can't let them control the story," he reportedly told her. "If we don't fight back, they'll bury him." Their house, once a place of family pride, was now filled with late-night strategy sessions, lawyers pacing the halls, and the constant buzzing of phones that never stopped ringing. On the other side, Boosie painted himself as the victim. In interviews, he claimed Ty was using him as a scapegoat to cover up family issues. "They trying to pin this on me because they scared to face what's really going on in their house," he said during one broadcast. Those words cut deep, sparking a whole new round of speculation. Was Boosie hinting at something bigger, something the Harris family didn't want exposed? Or was it just a deflection to keep eyes off himself? Social media fed off every twist. Memes mocked Ty's trembling voice outside the courthouse. Edits spliced Boosie's rants into comedy skits, and King's pain was turned into content for clout-hungry influencers. Hashtags trended in waves. One day it was "Watch Justice King," the next it was "Boosie innocent." The internet didn't want resolution. It wanted chaos, and the scandal provided it in abundance. Then came the revelation that rocked even the most hardened fans. Insiders claimed that not only was King targeted, but Boosie's own son had been caught in the crossfire. Rumors swirled that he had been lured into the same setup, a pawn just like King. If true, that made the situation darker than anyone imagined. This wasn't just a feud. It was children being dragged into psychological warfare, their innocence used as weapons in a game they never asked to play. Boosie denied it immediately, but the rumor clung to him like smoke, staining his credibility further. The courtroom atmosphere mirrored the chaos online. Lawyers clashed, voices rising, objections flying. Witnesses described King's breakdown after the leak, speaking about nights where he couldn't sleep, mornings where he refused to leave his room. One even said, "He stopped being King Harris. He just disappeared into himself." The judge's face remained stoic, but the gallery murmured with every revelation, the drama unfolding like a tragic film. Ty's anger flared during one session when Boosie allegedly laughed at something whispered to him by his lawyer. Slamming his hand on the table, Ty snapped, "You think this is a joke? That's my son. My blood you destroyed." The room went silent, gasps echoing as the judge called for order. Cameras captured every second, replaying the outburst across platforms within minutes. Fans were stunned. This was a side of Ty they hadn't seen in years, raw, unfiltered, and wounded. Rumors of industry involvement only grew louder. Bloggers suggested label executives wanted to derail King before he became a threat to other rising artists. Some claimed money had changed hands. Deals struck in smoky backrooms to ensure the leak would explode at the right moment. Nothing was proven, but the whispers painted a picture of a machine bigger than both Ty and Boosie. using their feud as a distraction while pulling strings in the background. All the while, King's silence was deafening. No interviews, no lives, just fragments of words from those close to him. But silence didn't protect him. Trolls filled the void with their own narratives, saying he was guilty, saying he was weak, saying he was hiding because he had something to fear. None of it was fair. But in the court of public opinion, fairness didn't matter. Perception was everything. And perception had already turned against him. And yet for all the chaos, there was still a glimmer of something unresolved. Fans wanted answers. The family wanted justice, and the industry wanted to move on. But with each passing day, the scandal dug deeper, dragging more people into its orbit, raising more questions than anyone could answer. The storm wasn't calming. It was gathering force, threatening to swallow everyone in its path. The courthouse had become more than a legal battleground. It was now the epicenter of a cultural earthquake. Outside, crowds gathered daily, holding up signs, chanting slogans, and streaming live from their phones, as if history was unfolding in real time. Some came to support Ty, shouting that he was a father fighting for his son's honor, while others rallied for Boosie, convinced he was the target of a smear campaign. The air outside felt like a carnival of chaos. But inside the building, the atmosphere was suffocating, every word echoing through walls heavy with tension. King Harris sat at the center of it all, eyes down, shoulders hunched, his presence both haunting and heartbreaking. Reporters described his posture as the look of someone crushed under weight he could never carry. When he finally spoke in a trembling voice, the silence in the room was chilling. "Y'all turned me into a joke, into a meme, but I'm not laughing," he said. "This ruined me. I don't even know who I am anymore." His words cut through the noise like a blade. Fans replayed the clip endlessly online, some showing sympathy, others mocking him further, twisting his pain into viral content. Boosie wasn't backing down. Every night he went live, pacing across his living room, pointing fingers at Ty's camp, claiming the entire case was fabricated to drag his name through the mud. "They need a villain, so they made me one," he shouted into his phone, sweat glistening on his forehead. "But y'all better look at the real snakes behind the curtain." His followers cheered him on, convinced the Harris family was staging a narrative to protect their legacy. Boosie's energy fueled his base, but to many others, his defiance only made him look guiltier. The press ate it up. News outlets ran side-by-side comparisons. T.I.'s emotional breakdown versus Boosie's angry live streams. One headline screamed, "A father's tears versus a rapper's fury." The story wasn't just about the alleged leak anymore. It was about two men locked in a duel of pride, pain, and survival. Lawyers began presenting evidence, said to be retrieved from encrypted files. Insiders claimed the data was traced back to devices linked with Boosie's circle. While nothing was confirmed in open court, the suggestion alone was enough to electrify the room. Boosie's lawyer objected furiously, calling it circumstantial, but the damage had been done. Spectators whispered. Gasps filled the gallery and Twitter exploded with theories. "If the trail leads to his camp, then what else is there to say?" One user posted, "Boosie cooked." Behind the spectacle, the Harris family fractured under the pressure. Ty's nights were restless, Tiny's tears unending. Close friends revealed the couple had begun arguing over strategy, disagreeing about how public they should be. Ty, fiercely protective yet combative, wanted to face the cameras head-on. Tiny, weary of the spotlight, wanted to retreat, to protect King's sanity above all. Their voices carried through their mansion, echoing pain and frustration. "This isn't about the world," she allegedly told Ty one night. "This is about our son surviving this." As if things couldn't get darker, whispers of more tapes circulated. Anonymous accounts hinted at files sitting on hard drives, waiting to be unleashed. Every rumor felt like a ticking time bomb over King's head, and he lived in constant fear of what tomorrow's feed would bring. The paranoia ate away at him. Friends said he barely left his room, and when he did, he wore a hood, face hidden, eyes darting as if everyone around him was watching, waiting. The internet showed no mercy. His breakdown clips were remixed into songs, his words sampled into memes, his tears looped into GIFs. He wasn't a person to them anymore. He was content. And no matter how loud Ty shouted about betrayal, or how much Tiny begged for privacy, the online machine kept churning, feasting on their misery. Rumors about industry sabotage refused to die down. Bloggers swore this wasn't just Ty versus Boosie. This was part of a bigger game. Record labels, they claimed, had long histories of manipulating artists' images, controlling careers, and burying rising stars who threatened the wrong people. King, they said, was simply the latest casualty. You think it's about a tape? One podcaster asked. Nah, it's about control, about money. Somebody wanted King off the board, and they played chess with his life. Inside the courtroom, Ty reached another boiling point. Boosie's smirk pushed him past his breaking point. You sit there laughing while my boy suffers, he snapped, pointing across the room. You think this is entertainment? This is my blood, my family, and you won't get away with it. The judge pounded the gavel, demanding order. But the moment had already escaped containment. Outside, clips of the outburst went viral in minutes, sparking even more debates online. The scandal seeped into every corner of hip-hop culture. Artists were forced to pick sides, either posting cryptic messages of support for Ty or quietly liking Boosie's posts. One rapper tweeted, "Loyalty ain't what it used to be," while another wrote, "Protect the kids, not the egos." It was clear that the feud wasn't just personal anymore. It was reshaping alliances across the industry. Meanwhile, King's pain deepened. He confided in one friend, "They don't see me as a person anymore, just as a headline." Those words, shared later on a podcast, left listeners stunned. Fans who once laughed suddenly paused, realizing they were witnessing not just a scandal, but the unraveling of a young man in real time. As rumors swirled of bigger evidence to come, of shocking twists still hidden in encrypted files, the question grew louder in every conversation. Was this about exposing the truth or destroying a family? The storm wasn't just raging, it was closing in, threatening to consume everything in its path, leaving nothing untouched. The trial pressed on, dragging everyone deeper into a whirlpool of suspicion, anger, and grief. Every day, the courthouse filled with flashing cameras, shouting reporters, and fans desperate to catch a glimpse of the chaos. By now, the case wasn't just a legal dispute. It was a spectacle that held the entire culture hostage. Inside, Ty sat rigid, his face hardened, but his eyes revealed the exhaustion of a man who had been carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Boosie sat across from him, fiery and unrelenting, still claiming innocence, still pointing his finger outward at invisible enemies. The tension between them was so heavy it seemed to hang in the air like smoke. Then came the testimony that shook the room to its core. A digital forensics expert stepped forward, explaining that files traced back to devices connected with people tied to Boosie's camp. The courtroom fell silent as the words landed. Boosie's lawyer objected, calling it hearsay, calling it circumstantial. But the seed had been planted. Whispers rushed through the gallery. Outside, social media exploded, trending with phrases like "digital smoking gun" and "Boosie exposed." The story had reached a fever pitch. King, though, was unraveling in the shadows of it all. Friends said he barely slept, spending nights scrolling through endless feeds that mocked his pain. Every time he opened his phone, there it was. His humiliation looped endlessly, turned into jokes and remixes. He couldn't escape it. Even in his own home, he felt the betrayal pressing in from every side. "They stole my life from me," he reportedly whispered to a family friend. "I'll never get it back." That confession, when leaked, turned into yet another viral moment. It was as if even his cries were stolen, weaponized as content. Ty and Tiny's heartbreak grew unbearable. Insiders said they were breaking down nightly, clinging to each other, struggling to hold their family together. For T, every second in that courtroom felt like a knife twisting in his chest. "This isn't just about law," he told the press one night. "This is survival. They're trying to erase my son." Those words replayed across feeds, rallying supporters who screamed for justice, while others mocked him as a desperate father lashing out. Boosie didn't let up. He went live again, shouting into the camera that Ty was lying. that the system was corrupt, that the whole case was an elaborate trap. "They framing me because I don't bow down to nobody," he ranted, but his anger only seemed to deepen the divide. Fans debated endlessly. Was he fighting for his name or covering up the truth? The culture itself seemed split down the middle. Some demanded accountability, chanting for King's protection, while others shrugged, saying this was just another messy chapter in hip-hop's long history of scandal. Hashtags shifted by the hour. Battles played out across timelines, and still the truth remained elusive. Rumors of more tapes loomed like a storm cloud, haunting King every waking moment. Anonymous accounts claimed entire folders of footage were waiting to drop. Whether true or not, the fear of it kept him locked in a cage of paranoia. Every whisper of another leak felt like a dagger aimed at what little peace he had left. Then, in one of the trial's most haunting moments, King found the strength to speak again. Standing before the court, his voice cracked as he said, "Y'all turned me into entertainment. I'm not entertainment. I'm a person. I'm someone's son." The words froze the room. For a moment, even the harshest critics online paused, reminded that behind the scandal was a human being, bleeding in front of the world. But outside, the cycle never stopped. His plea was clipped into 15-second edits, slapped onto TikTok, spun into remixes. The world didn't care about the scars, it cared about the show. As the case neared its conclusion, experts warned that no verdict could undo the damage. Even if Ty won, the humiliation had already been carved into stone. Millions had seen it. Millions had laughed, and the internet never forgets. Money could pay damages, but it couldn't restore innocence, couldn't erase betrayal, couldn't rebuild trust. What lingered most was the betrayal. The idea that someone within their circle, someone close enough to be trusted, might have played a role in destroying them. It gave the entire scandal a Shakespearean weight. Loyalty twisted into sabotage, friendship into warfare, children into pawns. And so, the saga ended not with answers, but with scars. Ty walked out of the courthouse one final time, Tiny at his side, King trailing behind with his hood up, eyes hidden. Cameras flashed. Reporters screamed questions, but none of them mattered. The family wasn't walking away victorious. They were walking away broken, stripped of peace, uncertain if they would ever find healing. The streets still buzzed, the internet still roared, and the world still demanded more. But for King Harris, the scandal wasn't a story. It was a wound he would carry forever. In a culture where pain becomes profit and humiliation becomes entertainment, the question haunted everyone watching. Can a young man survive being turned into a headline? Or will the setup define him forever? The silence that followed felt louder than the chaos that came before. And that's where we leave this explosive story. A saga that feels less like gossip and more like a tragedy unfolding in front of millions. The courtroom drama, the accusations, the betrayals. None of it is simple, and none of it is without consequences. Ty stands defiant. Boosie stands defensive, and King Harris stands in the middle of a storm. He never asked to face. The truth, whatever it may be, is tangled in emotions, loyalty, and power games that go far beyond a single leaked clip. But here's the question that matters most. Where does this all go from here? Will the courts deliver justice? Will more tapes surface to shatter what's left of King's peace? Or will this story fade into the endless cycle of internet drama, leaving scars that never truly heal? One thing's certain, this case has forced fans to confront the darker side of fame, where every tear becomes a meme, every crack in a voice becomes a headline, and every mistake is amplified for the world's amusement. In the end, it's not just about Ty or Boosie. It's about what happens when private pain is fed into the machine of public entertainment. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Boosie was really behind the alleged setup? Or is Ty chasing shadows in his fight to protect his family's name? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this debate is far from over. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you're locked in with the story, share this video to keep the conversation going, and subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive into the drama shaking the culture. Your voice is part of this story. So let us know, whose side are you on? Let us know, whose side are you on?